5 WWE wrestlers that Vince McMahon hated. Number 5. Goldberg. Former NFL pro player and wrestler Bill Goldberg made it clear during an interview that Vince McMahon, as well as Triple H, have great disdain for him. We all know Goldberg for his notable winning streak that ended at 173 victories, when he lost his title to Kevin Nash, after Scott Hall, who was disguised as ring guard security, shot Goldberg with a taser gun. During the interview, Goldberg remarked that Vince McMahon disliked him because, in his eyes, he wasn't one of their boys, and he wasn't a team player. McMahon generally never bought into Goldberg's gimmick. Goldberg was very unhappy with the way that Vince McMahon handled his character, and expressed the following comment: "I can't really see anything positive about that man. It's like working for a carny. It's like working for a carny who's driven only by his ego. Business is out the window, as evidenced by what he did to my character. So I don't have a positive thing to say about that guy." It's pretty clear from their relationship that Goldberg is not one for the list anytime soon in the WWE Hall of Fame. Number 4. The Ultimate Warrior. Vince McMahon and the Ultimate Warrior fell out on several occasions during his career in the World Wrestling Federation at the time. In 1991, the Ultimate Warrior wrote a letter to Vince McMahon demanding more money. According to several rumours, the Ultimate Warrior demanded $550,000, or else he wouldn't attend SummerSlam. If you're interested in reading the letter he wrote to Vince McMahon, there's a link in the description below which will direct you to the letter. McMahon, bizarrely, submitted to this request, which again you can read in the description. Consequently, the Ultimate Warrior was suspended for 2 months later due to a breach of contract. The Ultimate Warrior returned in 1992 at WrestleMania 8, and was required to become a heel and work several house shows, as instructed by the chairman. However, the Ultimate Warrior refused, and as a result was fired. Further tensions between the two arose when the Ultimate Warrior made a return in WrestleMania 12 in 1996, and was unhappy with the direction his character was going in. Finally, the two battled once again when the Ultimate Warrior filed a lawsuit that sued the WWE over the depiction of his wrestling career in The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior DVD. Thankfully, the two were able to make up before he passed away in April 2014. Number 3. Macho Man Randy Savage. There have been countless rumours and speculations associated with the Macho Man Randy Savage, which has resulted in a long-time strained relationship between himself and Vince McMahon. Many have attributed the root of this animosity to the fact that Savage joined one of McMahon's biggest rivals, WCW, something he promised Vince he would never do. However, the most controversial rumour, which may explain Vince's bitterness towards Savage, was the rumour that Savage slept with Vince McMahon's daughter, Stephanie McMahon, who was only 17 years old and underage at the time. Although unconfirmed, it is a possibility that we cannot ignore. Despite this, Vince McMahon paid tribute to Savage after his tragic death, describing him as one of wrestling's all-time greats, and he introduced him into the WWE Hall of Fame. Number 2. CM Punk. Vince McMahon was upset by some of the comments that CM Punk made towards WWE's medical staff and personnel during an interview with the Art of Wrestling podcast, hosted by Colt Cabana. He believed that the WWE medical staff had a lack of concern regarding his health, some of which could have left him with a serious injury or dead. Some of the issues that Punk raised were that the WWE booked him to appear at the TLC pay-per-view event 3 weeks following the knee surgery he had. Furthermore, Punk questioned the effectiveness of the concussion test that was conducted by the medical staff, as he believed he had suffered from a concussion, but somehow passed the test. Perhaps the most serious incident that Punk criticised the medical team for was the misdiagnosis of a staph infection that potentially could have ended his life. McMahon was also upset by the way that CM Punk left the company just weeks before WrestleMania 30 and pleading for Punk to stay. However, this wasn't enough, and Punk stated that he was never ever going to return to wrestling. Number 1. Daniel Bryan. Many Many people may be surprised about this, but Vince McMahon was displeased about the reaction that Daniel Bryan was receiving from the WWE universe, and generally never bought into Daniel Bryan's gimmick. McMahon was also unhappy about how he was forced to put Bryan into the main event in WrestleMania, which Bryan went on to win. Another instance Vince did not appreciate was during the 2015 Royal Rumble, which left fans in discontent after Bryan was eliminated, so much so that #cancel the WWE Network was trending following the pay-per-view event. Although relations have slightly improved between the two, Bryan revealed during an interview that Vince probably doesn't want to see him main event another WrestleMania, and believes that Vince doesn't see him in the same light as John Cena or Roman Reigns. He said that he thinks Vince McMahon sees him as someone who makes money for the company. Interestingly, Daniel Bryan was cleared by the doctors but is yet to be cleared by Vince McMahon.